Welcome back to the Whispers of the Dark, where our nighttime rituals series pulls you deeper into the shadows of the unknown. We've faced the cursed mirror of Black Hollow, summoned Bloody Mary in Salem's haunted mirrors, and played the deadly midnight game in Ashwood's darkened halls. But tonight, we're crossing a line you can't uncross, a ritual that opens a door to the other side. It's called the Ouija board, and it's played in a small coastal town called Port Haven, Maine. They say it lets you talk to the dead, but sometimes the dead talk back, and they don't always want to let you go. Port Haven, Maine is a postcard town, lighthouses, lobster boats, and salty air. Tourists flock here in summer, but in winter, the fog rolls in and the locals lock their doors. There's a story they don't tell outsiders about an old house on Cliff Road, perched above the crashing waves. In 1985, a family disappeared from that house. The only clue was a Ouija board left on the dining room table, its planchette pointing to the word goodbye. Since then, the house has stood empty, its windows like hollow eyes watching the sea. Kids in Port Haven know the tale, and every few years, someone gets the idea to sneak in with a Ouija board, thinking it's just a game. Most come back laughing. Some don't come back at all. Ava was 18, a senior at Port Haven High, itching to leave for college. She was the artsy type, always with a camera, chasing the perfect shot for her portfolio. But Port Haven felt like a cage, its small-town rules and whispers stifling her. Her best friend, Lucas, was the opposite. A science nerd who didn't believe in ghosts, but loved a challenge. Then there was Harper, the new girl, who'd moved from Boston with a quiet intensity and a habit of reading tarot cards. Rounding out the group was Dylan, Ava's older brother, a college dropout who hung around town, always chasing a thrill. One stormy October night, with Halloween a week away, they were bored, holed up in Ava's garage. Harper pulled a Ouija board from her bag, its edges worn, letters faded. "Found it in my attic," she said, her voice low. "Want to try it?" Lucas rolled his eyes. "It's just a board game, guys." Dylan grinned, cracking a beer. "Let's do it somewhere real, like the Cliff Road house." Ava hesitated, her stomach twisting. She'd heard the stories, but the idea of filming it for her YouTube channel was too tempting. "Fine," she said, "but we're not staying long." The rules of the Ouija board are simple but strict. You need at least 2 people, fingers lightly on the planchette, asking questions in a quiet room. Start with, "Is anyone there?" and end with, "Goodbye" to close the session. Never play alone. Never ask when you'll die. And never, ever leave the planchette on the board without saying goodbye. Break the rules, and you might open a door that won't close. The kids in Port Haven added their own rule. Don't play in the Cliff Road house. But Ava and her friends ignored that one. The house on Cliff Road was a wreck. Sagging roof, broken windows, the smell of damp wood and salt. The storm outside howled, waves crashing against the cliffs below. They sat up in the dining room where the air felt thick, like it was holding its breath. Ava propped her camera on a tripod, the red recording light a faint glow. Harper lit candles, their flames dancing in the draft. The Ouija board sat on the table, its letters stark against the worn wood. They placed their fingers on the planchette, giggling nervously. Lucas, skeptical as ever, asked, "Is anyone there?" The planchette didn't move. Dylan smirked. "See? Nothing." But then Ava felt it. A tug, like the planchette, had a mind of its own. It slid to yes. Harper's eyes widened. "Who are you?" she asked. The planchette spelled out Eliza. Ava's heart raced. "Eliza who?" The board answered. Drowned. Lucas pulled his hands back. "You guys are messing with me." But no one was laughing now. The air grew colder, the candles flickering. Ava asked, Eliza, are you here with us? The planchette jerked to yes, then spelled Watching. Dylan, trying to act tough, asked, "What do you want?" The planchette spun, landing on YOU. A loud crash came from upstairs like a chair falling. Harper whispered, "We should say goodbye." But Dylan, egged on by the camera, pushed further. "Show yourself, Eliza." The candles snuffed out, plunging the room into darkness. Ava's camera glitched, the screen showing static. A voice, not theirs, not human, whispered, "I'm here." The planchette moved on its own, spelling NOESCAPE. Harper screamed, yanking her hands away. But the planchette kept moving, circling the board. Lucas bolted for the door, but it slammed shut, the lock clicking. Ava's flashlight flickered, revealing scratches on the walls that weren't there before. "Eliza." Panic took over. They tried to say goodbye, but the planchette wouldn't stop spelling MINE over and over. The temperature plummeted, their breath fogging in the air. Harper clutched her tarot cards, muttering a prayer, but the board vibrated, the planchette skittering like it was alive. Dylan grabbed the board, trying to throw it, but it wouldn't budge, like it was glued to the table. A shadow moved in the corner, a figure with long, wet hair, dripping as if pulled from the sea. Ava's camera fell, the lens cracking. The voice whispered again, closer now. "Stay with me." Lucas pounded on the door, screaming for help. Harper poured salt around them, a trick she'd read about, but the shadow stepped through it, untouched. Ava grabbed the planchette, forcing it to goodbye, her hands burning as if touching ice. The shadow lunged and the room shook, the windows rattling like they'd shatter. Then silence. The candles relit themselves, the door clicked open. They ran, leaving the board behind, stumbling to the storm. Ava's camera was ruined, the footage corrupted, showing only glimpses of a figure in the static. Back home, they swore never to speak of it, but the whispers followed them. Ava stopped filming, her camera untouched in her room. Lucas started seeing shadows in his lab, his experiments failing for no reason. Harper burned her tarot cards, but she woke every night at 3 a.m., hearing a woman's voice hum a lullaby. Dylan was the worst. He'd stare at mirrors, muttering, "She's still here." One night he walked Cliff Road and vanished. His car was found by the house, the Ouija board on the passenger seat, the planchette on goodbye. The Cliff Road house still stands, its doors locked but never secure. Kids in Port Haven dare each other to sneak in, but few do. The Ouija board is still there, they say, waiting on the dining room table, its letters gleaming in the dark. At night, if you listen closely, you can hear a woman's voice, soft and wet, whispering, "Ask me a question." So, have you ever touched a Ouija board? Maybe at a sleepover, messing around with friends, not thinking it was real? Or heard a whisper in the dark you couldn't explain? Drop your spookiest stories in the comments below. I'll read the creepiest one in our next Nighttime Rituals video. If you're loving these terrifying tales, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's next. Our next ritual will chill you to the bone, so stay tuned. Until then, keep your doors locked, because some things don't say goodbye.